Our top story is temperatures climb across the coastal Empire and Low Country. Many workers are feeling the heat on the job.
And for some restaurant employees, the conditions inside can be even hotter than outside. One local barbecue restaurant has now decided to cut back its hours to protect its staff. WSAV's Isabella Baez with the story.
Restaurant staff here at Rory's are feeling the heat, and it's not just from the sizzling grills, but also the soaring temperatures.
It was hot. It was really hot. I can't expect my employees to power through. We don't power through.
When you think of barbecue, you might think of smoked pork, piping hot ribs, or burgers fresh off the grill. But for some, that means working through the sweltering heat. However, one local barbecue restaurant is putting their employees first. Rory's Barbecue shared they have begun to shorten their hours on one of their busiest nights, Friday, closing early at 2 p.m. due to the temperature inside the kitchen. Mandy Chambliss saying it is her job to make sure her staff work in a safe environment.
If you're working every single day and you're grunting in the kitchen, you're just moving as fast as you can move to get everything out. You got to have that extra day for your body to regulate itself.
The outside temperatures pouring in along with the older building, making the restaurant reach 86 degrees in the afternoon.
Not to compare people to horses, but the horses downtown have to stop when it's too hot. The roofers, they can't work at 2 p.m. in the middle of the afternoon. It's too hot. It's no different in a kitchen, except you're adding all of this manufactured heat on top of the natural heat that we have in the South as it is.
She says the decision to close early comes from a personal experience.
I had no idea who I was or where I was, and it was a struggle just to get from the food truck to the ditch where I ended up when the ambulance showed up.
This is the first time Rory's have had to close early due to the heat in all 12 years.
We call it hitting the wall. When you hit the wall and you just can't make it, she was there, and I knew that we were in trouble, and there's no reason for it.
Rory's hours have changed on Fridays due to the heat, and to give their staff a break. To see the updated information, you can check their Facebook. Reporting in Springfield, I'm Isabella Baez, WSAV News 3 on your side.
And Storm Team 3 Chief Meteorologist Scott Roberts is joining us now. Scott, we're only in the first half of June, but it's already hot enough for some businesses to change their hours. So how is this coming week shaping up?
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit warmer than normal over the next several days, not including tomorrow or Wednesday, but really at the end of the weekend. As hot as it was over the past few days, especially for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with highs reaching the upper 90s, not record-breaking, but certainly feeling a lot hotter when you factored in the humidity, and that was the real concern over the weekend. Temperatures tomorrow, because of higher rain and thunderstorm chances, they will be warming just into the 80s, so actually slightly below normal for Tuesday. That continues for Wednesday, but again, not record-breaking. It does get a little bit hotter for Thursday and Friday. Records right now are between 100 and 102 degrees, so really it's been hot, but it certainly could be a lot worse. But with rain in the forecast for the next few days, with what we are tracking around the southeast, that will be moving in through the day tomorrow. That's what will be keeping temperatures on the relative cooler side. We'll talk about the storm chances for Tuesday and into Wednesday coming up in just a few moments.
Scott, thank you. A 26-year-old Claxton man behind bars tonight, accused of a deadly weekend shooting that claimed the life of a 19-year-old. The GBI says Evans County deputies responded to a shooting just after 2:30 Sunday morning at Iron Eagle on Highway 280 in Claxton. When deputies arrived, they found Jamari Johnson shot. He later died at the hospital. Javion Humans has been charged with felony murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. Humans is being held in the Tatnall County Jail.
New developments now. A 2024 murder case stalled in court after a judge pushed back against delays in the prosecution's readiness. Elijah Roundtree is accused of shooting and killing 23-year-old Sincere Ward while allegedly firing at a different man. In court today, Roundtree's attorney asked a judge to continue the hearing, saying the district attorney's office has not yet assigned someone to the case. The judge did not set a new date, but said given the nature of the case, it's unacceptable that it's not ready to move forward.
The trial of a Fort Stewart soldier accused of shooting 5 people on post is set to begin tomorrow after a judge rejected a key defense motion today. Sergeant Cornelius Radford's attorneys argued the case should be thrown out over alleged improper influence of a government witness. WSAV's Evan Smoke was in the courtroom as the judge issued his decision.
The defense team for Sergeant Cornelius Radford argued Monday that the remaining charges should be dropped due to unlawful command influence of a key witness. The judge did not agree.
The motion stemmed from a counseling meeting that Sergeant Randall Brown had on May 8th. Brown was a law enforcement officer who took custody of Radford after being arrested after shooting 5 people at Fort Stewart on August 8th, 2025. The defense argued that in this counseling, Brown was potentially influenced to testify a certain way or face punishment. Brown was called to the meeting for failure to read Radford, as well as a second person in a separate incident of their Article 31 rights. The defense continued that the timing of the counseling in May, after Radford had pled guilty to multiple charges in March, was potential proof of unlawful command influence, and asserted that Brown was the only witness the government or prosecution has that could prove Radford's intent. The defense sought relief by dismissing the remaining charges and/or barring Brown from testifying. Prosecutors argued that the counseling was only intended to inform Brown he was being temporarily reassigned while the review of potential rights violations was ongoing. The prosecution added that Brown was only informed to tell the truth during this meeting, something Brown himself testified. Following arguments from both sides, the judge denied the motion.
The trial for the remaining charges, which center around Radford's intent last August, will begin Tuesday at 9 a.m. Reporting from Fort Stewart, Evan Smoke, WSAV News 3, on your side.
New tonight, Statesboro leaders are looking ahead to the city's next police chief, and they want the community's help. Residents packed council chambers tonight to share what they'd like to see in the department's next leader. Residents said they want a chief who is approachable, values community policing, and has experience working with people who have mental health or special needs challenges. Others said the next chief will need to navigate Statesboro's growth, maintain officer morale during the transition, and lead a department in a college town.
We value community engagement, so it's important that our citizens actually take part in the process. The police department is the largest department in our organization, and so we believe that citizen engagement is part of the process. It's a valued part of the process, and we love it when citizens are engaged and involved.
The position has not yet been posted, but city officials say community input will help shape the profile of their ideal candidate. Anyone who missed Monday's meeting can still share their feedback at this email address right here, hr@statesboroga.gov.
Now to a story you'll only see here on WSAV. More than 6 years after the killing of Ahmaud Arbery shocked the nation, his father is sharing his family's story in a new book. Marcus Arbery Sr. sat down with me today to talk about Where's Daddy? The Ahmaud Arbery Story, a book that looks beyond the headlines to tell a story of fatherhood, loss, resilience, and healing. Ahmaud Arbery was 25 years old when he was chased and shot to death while jogging through a Brunswick neighborhood in February of 2020. Now, his father says he wants people to see the man Ahmaud was and the impact his life continues to have on others.
Lover, he was the youngest, but he acted like he was the oldest. He was so protected of his brother and sister. I looked at him, I said, "You think you the oldest?" I'm talking about every time his sister come home with college, he get with her, they go out. And I said, "Where y'all going at?" "Dad, we going to Wings and Things," because that was my daughter know my spot to go eat. He ain't want her dating nobody. That was her date, because he was so protected of her.
The book release and tour launch for Where's Daddy? The Ahmaud Arbery Story will be held Saturday, June 20th at Old Time Country Buffet in Brunswick. The event runs from 5 until 7 p.m.
WSAV is your local election headquarters, and today Rick Jackson making a stop in Savannah, meeting with voters one last time before tomorrow's runoff election for the Republican nomination for Georgia governor. Jackson and supporters gathered at the Shelter, where he touched on topics like lowering the price of food and gas and lowering property and income taxes. He told voters he wants to make Georgia the best place to raise a family, but the worst place to be a criminal. He says despite his opponent's endorsements from both President Trump and Governor Kemp, he's confident he'll win tomorrow.
Governor Kemp's a good, has a great record, and I'm going to build off that legacy. But look, I'm an outsider, and I think people really want an outsider to win. That's the reason tomorrow voters are going to vote for an outsider and not this inside baseball and politics and backroom deals and so forth like that. And I'll build off his legacy, but I'm coming in as an outsider, and we're going to win tomorrow.
Jackson will go head-to-head with Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. Whoever advances will face Democrat Keisha Lance Bottoms in November's general election.
Meanwhile, in South Carolina, early voting for the June 23rd runoff opens Wednesday and Thursday of this week and will be closed Friday for the Juneteenth holiday. On Hilton Head Island, the Republican women of southern Beaufort County hosted several candidates making pleas to voters. That includes Jenny Honeycutt and Mark Smith, running for South Carolina's District 1 congressional seat, along with two Republicans in the Attorney General race, David Stumbo and Stephen Goldfinch. The winner of the first congressional runoff will actually face either the Democratic candidate Mac DeFort or Nancy LaCour in November's election. In the governor's race, U.S. Representative Ralph Norman has endorsed Attorney General Alan Wilson, calling him a prosecutor and combat veteran who would advance a conservative agenda. Wilson is facing Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette in the June 23rd runoff. Evette has been endorsed by President Trump and Governor Henry McMaster.
I am convinced Alan Wilson is the man for the job. Over the last several days, I will be doing what I can to ensure my voters turn out to vote with him and that we can ensure a decisive victory for him on June 23rd. Let's continue to fight for a stronger, more conservative South Carolina and elect Alan Wilson.
More information on voting and candidates on our website. Just visit WSAV.com/electionHQ.